From the time we are born, human connection is desired and craved, and without it, you cannot grow or expand. It is required by all. You learn to trust, and this is so important for human connections throughout your life. Human connection is based in fact. Everyone is in a state of flux. Connection is a product of that flux. The more connection you have, the better. Sharing your experiences validates and helps one grow, and it's part of the human process. Growing and learning together make it a shared experience to be had. The key to self-awareness and expansion is connection. It helps you think of what is possible rather than what is not. Human connection is the most important connection of all. You're interconnected on a soul level, and it's important to open to the pleasures of others' thoughts and opinions. When others see and understand your views, it validates your understanding, and each connection reaches a state of comprehension and trust. Human connection in this modern day and age comes with all kinds of struggles. Most of us think when we get older that we choose to be alone. Partnerships and friendships and loved ones who've passed or moved away are no longer with us to interact with. These relationships were built over time, and this can make it difficult to start new ones, especially those that have been cultivated over a lifetime. Hence, we feel the support we once knew is gone. Human connection is not only about social interactions with others, but also our connections to our surroundings, and mostly our connection to ourselves. How to improve your connection with yourself? Start by noticing your feelings. Practice being aware of your feelings. Try naming them as you feel them in order to be more in touch with yourself. Also, take time for yourself. For example, grab a book, take a walk, or revisit an old hobby. And you can also disconnect from technology. Spend time without the interruption of technology. Also, try meditating for a few minutes every day. Be still and be present with yourself. If you're looking for that one thing to change in your life, take a look in the mirror. Connecting with ourselves is often the most difficult bucket to fill. Negative thoughts and self-talk can degrade the relationship we have with others and ourselves without even realizing it. To start improving this aspect of your life, make intentional time for yourself. Be aware of how you treat yourself and phrase that you repeat to yourself the most. Is that message inspiring or degrading to you? Self-awareness is essential for self-acceptance, self-love, and connection to those in your life you love and care about. There are ways to feel more connected to your environment as well. Let there be light. Open the windows. Go for a walk. Natural sunlight is extremely important to health and overall good mood. Clean and organize. Living in a clean and organized environment can help to relieve stress on the body and the mind. And finally, spend more time in nature. Opt to do more activities outside, even relaxing, non-active ones. For example, enjoy a cup of coffee, read a book, or go for a hike. Spending quality time with yourself, create fun in your life, find your passion, and find others who share it too. Like attracts like. Be attentive and supportive during conversations. Be a good listener. Practice listening to understanding, not to reply. Try waiting a few seconds before responding. Ensure that the other person has finished with their thought. Appreciate others. Express that appreciation. Always show others how much they mean to you, whether that is through words or actions. Join us live. Awesome, awesome. Welcome to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway, your channel for community support, help, friendship, love, knowledge, being of value to others. Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, it's so good to have you with us. And if you're returning, thank you. Welcome back. Hey, it's Friday night. It's time to feed your mind and grow your heart. And that's what we're here to do tonight. So let me get this stuff out of my way. All right. So tonight we are talking about human connection, and this topic was a big deal for myself and my guides. They really pushed this subject and wanted me to do something with this. So I listened to my guides, and I am going to do it. But first, before we do anything, I'd like to acknowledge everyone that's in chat. Let's see, and everybody watching. Thank you all for out there that are watching but not in chat. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I get it, and it's all good. Scotty Boy, good to see ya. Susie Q, always a pleasure. Let's see, who else do we have? We've got Lucky Stone, good to see you as well. Lee, it's a pleasure. Happy, happy times. Chloe, hi, Chloe. Good to see you, sweet Chloe. Let's see, who else we got? Oh, Pa Joe, good to see you as well. And I'm kind of scrolling through pretty quick. Yep. All right. I think that's it for everybody here. There's 8 people watching. I think I've got most of you here in chat. Good. So, human connection. The most important connection you can make is a deep relationship with yourself. Take inventory about your likes and dislikes, focusing on your positive aspects, but recognizing where you may fall short. Not to ignore them, but to notice and observe them, and to better make changes that enhance yourself in a positive way. Being honest with your feelings, being open to new concepts and ideas you didn't have before. Allowing true connections with others, understanding boundaries and discernment of others, current paths and the ability to read those energies, and to make the adjustments. See others' point of view and to honor their understanding of consciousness. True connection is the currency. Communication and relationships are the investment of that connection. Want to welcome you all tonight. Teresa, it's good to have you with us as always. Dalibor, Suki, and Grandpa Brian. Kind of a tight,
Freudian.
uh-huh. Kind of a tight knit group tonight. Woo, that was a tough one to get out. One of the things I really wanted to get into was, and I wanted to use you, Teresa, as an example, because you are a
Uh-oh.
very good example of someone who listens, pays attention, wants to get to know people. You're such a great networker. You're very social. You like to pull people in, and you do it in such a way that you have a genuine curiosity about people and you ask leading questions. For example, I asked you before we came on here, what was the best part of your day? And that's a really good way to get that going, get that communication factor and connection going. And I wondered, Dalibor, what was the best part of your day today, besides quackers behind you there?
Uh, uh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't usually think about,
Yeah,
I,
that's why I'm
I don't
asking.
usually, yeah, that's kind of like an out of the blue question.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I guess waking up in and of itself should be something that you're grateful for because, there's people that don't wake up. There's people that
Gotcha.
can't. That
Mm-hmm.
that for whatever reason they die in their sleep or whatever. So what the fact that I did that, the fact that I woke up means that I didn't die in my sleep, which means that today is a good day to live
Because you woke up.
because I woke up. Yeah.
I love that. Hi, Kelly
Hmm.
Boyles. Glad you joined us. Thanks for popping in. Love it, love it. How about you, Grandpa Brian? What was the
The
best part of your day? What was just the best part of it?
the 3 hours that I spent with Luna at the dog park,
Ah, that's so cool.
just watching her run and play and getting exercise.
So your anniversary, you just had your anniversary with your pup. She's what, a year old now, and And
Well,
yeah,
she's 14 months, and I picked her up last year on June 22nd. So
oh, that's awesome.
year and 2 days. It seems like it's hasn't been that long.
Boy, she grew like a weed too, super fast.
Hmm.
Yeah, beautiful dog, beautiful dog. How about you, Teresa? What was the best part of your day?
Playing with the dogs. My
Hmm.
my dog has her best friend over for a long weekend, JC, who's a German Shepherd, and they just crack me up all the time. And today, JC got stuck behind the sofa because she's gotten so big. She used to be a puppy and just run behind it. So apparently, she wedged herself, and I couldn't find her, and I could hear her, but I couldn't find her. She wasn't scared or anything. She was just like tail thumping, and her
Yep.
tail was real strong, thump, thump, thump. And I had gone out to the store and left them running around in the house. When I came
Uh-huh.
home, the German Shepherd was wedged behind the sofa. She had gotten herself wedged in there. She was fine. It's just funny. They just make me laugh. And when they make me laugh, it just brightens up my whole day. Because it's been raining for days now and no
Yeah,
sunshine.
you haven't had much sunshine. Yeah,
So it
that's
gets, and
tough.
it's dark and it's boring, and it's so I find things to do, but I love playing with them. Yeah, so I like it when JC comes over. There's dead animal carcass, stuffed animals all over the house. So yeah, but that was actually the highlight of my day, was just cracking up because they do such funny things. Like right now, there's one standing up almost like a human on my bed. Get down. Did Lori freeze up? Looks like she locked
Yeah, I
up.
guess so.
Yeah.
Well, since you guys
She'll
were all
come back in.
you're all talking about your animal friends. Well, back when I still had one, I had a rabbit, and he lived with me in my house. And since I mostly worked from home, I would let him out of the house like maybe sometimes up to 7 times a day. I was just like open the door, he'd go out into the garden, he'd do his thing, he'd do his digging, sniffing, digging, rolling around the dirt, stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
that's
exploring, and then just run back in. And
yeah,
sometimes if he didn't feel like it would be a challenge because chasing a rabbit is not exactly the easiest thing in the world to do. So that was sometimes a challenge, but he pretty
yeah,
much knew the routine. And I knew his routine. Anytime he would put his paws on the glass of the balcony
yeah.
door, the rear patio door, I knew that he wanted to go out. So I would just like open it for him. He'd
There
fly
she is.
out, and yeah, so I would do that like 3 to 7 times a day, and that was always fun. In other words, it's just as valid a connection as the connection that you have with your human friends.
Yeah, oh,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, it's
Welcome,
just that
Mark the Ark.
it's unfettered by things like the higher mind, the cerebral cortex, things like
Yeah,
mathematics, finance. Because animals don't think about these things. It's not in their world. It's not in. That's not part of their consciousness.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
always just in the present moment.
Yeah.
They're just,
Yep.
yeah. They're not thinking too much about anything. They're just,
yeah.
oh,
They're fun to be around because they remind you of all the innocence, and they're stripped of all the concerns that we have.
Hmm.
hmm.
Not that they don't have some concerns, but they pretty much eat, sleep, drink, play, chew,
Hmm.
chase. Yeah,
I
Yep.
think what they think about is, okay, I got a full belly, I got a warm bed, and my bladder is empty.
Hmm.
yeah, probably. Yep.
Pretty much.
Hmm.
Uh, I am having a little bit of issue with my CPU. I don't know what that's all about. So
Overheating.
yeah, so something's definitely awry, but I'll get it figured out. No doubt about it.
Yeah. So I just keep bringing yourself back in.
I'll try.
We'll keep
If
we'll
I
keep
don't come
rolling with
back,
it.
don't be surprised.
We'll
It's
keep
the
rolling with it.
CPU. Yep. Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, we're just kind of winging it tonight a bit and just talking about this human connection thing and how important it is to have, like with your neighbor and that kind of stuff. You've
Oh
got
yeah,
everybody has a neighbor that kind of sticks to themselves and doesn't say too much.
truth seeker.
Hi, Truth Seeker. Good to see you. I wonder, you
Yeah.
guys in chat, how do you make connections with people, and are they important for you? Because I know with the pandemic and everything that was going on, people were
Oh,
pretty
that's right.
shut in and closed up.
I did have a thought I wanted to share.
Sure, go
I,
ahead.
I shared it with you a couple of days ago when we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about this. Um, it occurred to me that that this is why the power of making connections. Why are connections so important? And I got to thinking about it because of what happened with those neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I told Lori that there are a lot of folks out there that seem to be somewhat isolationists
Mm-hmm.
anyway, regardless of the pandemic. They like to stay isolated and keep their world really small to their immediate family or one or two very close friends, and so they don't really put themselves out there much.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them live alone, and some of them self isolate, and it's kind of forced on people these past couple of years.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they have the feeling that they need to protect their
Mm-hmm.
privacy,
Mm-hmm.
and they're very private people. They don't trust a lot of people, so they're
Mm-hmm.
very closed.
Yep.
And so then there's another group of people, or actually down deep inside, though, when the rubber hits the road and they're going through something, they then crave that contact with others.
Mm-hmm.
They need to feel that connectiveness with others,
Yeah.
and so it looks like there's a split. I told Lori it's like yourself is split between wanting autonomy and wanting to be connected.
Mm-hmm.
And other people have often said also in this community, I've heard people say things like, it's perfectly okay to live in isolation. We can get by. We don't need other people. People don't need people. And um, you don't need to feel like you have to be connected with your guides or with people
Mm-hmm.
or even animals
Mm-hmm.
because it's okay. I can survive without that connectivity. And so all this implies to me that it's not exclusive. It's not. It's all inclusive. You
Mm-hmm.
these. I think what people are really saying, Lori, is how can I maintain my privacy
Mm-hmm.
and my need to control my energy? How can I maintain that and still have you, Brian, or you, Dalibor, or
Mm-hmm.
all of you? Can
Mm-hmm.
I still have me
Yeah,
and everyone else?
you sure
And
can.
so I think that's where
Mm-hmm.
this split. And
Yeah.
so they're the self is fighting
Mm-hmm.
its own self internally.
Yeah.
That there's a struggle going on that creates friction, anxiety, depression, loneliness, and you become so disconnected that because you can't figure out how to get both,
Mm-hmm.
that when things are rough, then you start venting and reaching out, but you're
Mm-hmm.
so emotionally unable to communicate any longer in a way that makes other people feel comfortable. And so the doors start closing in your face because they're trying to protect their energies from
Mm-hmm.
the energy vampire.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to acknowledge Lucky's statement here. I have social anxiety, believe it or not. Um, I have social anxiety as well. I don't like being around a lot of people, and I think the biggest reason is because I do pick up on the energy, and sometimes it's overwhelming. So I tell myself, you're everything is good, you're fine. But if, especially if I get into tight knit, like a lot of people around me, it really, really makes me feel uncomfortable. I have a really difficult time with that sometimes. So I understand your anxiety, Lucky Stone. Um, I'm just really good at faking it. I can come off very social, but I am an extreme introvert. I really I'm more into what's going on with me than just about anything else. However, when I go into public, I'm always very polite, and I think you are too, Lucky, and I think that's why people are probably drawn to you. And I will talk to people and I will do my thing like it's no big deal, but it is difficult for me. But I just kind of power through it, work through it, and get it done. And try not to let that take over how I'm going to react or be with others in public. I can remember a couple of concerts, going to some concerts and things like that, and everybody's high vibe and having a good time, but I just feel like closed in all of a sudden, like things are just like squashing on me. And so I just learn to handle it, and I do what I can to get through the moment. And then a few minutes later, I'm feeling okay, or I'm getting into the music or whatever. But try to keep my mind off of it and not be so apprehensive when I'm suddenly thrust into that environment. I don't know if that helps, Lucky. Yeah, awkward silence is my favorite thing. I don't need to fill the silence. Yeah. Um, yeah, I get that too. Yep. Smiling's great too. You can always tell kind of where people are at too when you're walking by them, or whether they catch your eye contact or not, or a quick smile. You can really tell where people are at. And you can tell the ones that are in the same boat as you, that they really just want to get in, get their stuff and get the heck out, no matter where you're at. But movie theaters are a little easier because you're sitting in the dark, so that's not quite as bad. But once before you get to your seat, so I understand that feeling, Lucky, that you have, but it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It just is what it is, and you acknowledge it, and you just do the best you can on moving forward. Oh, hi, Amber Dawn Rising. Good to see you. Hey, glad you dropped in to say hello. Long time no
Hi, Amber.
see. Yeah, good to see you. That was a really nice show you guys did, a Milky Way for ISB. That was really, really sweet of you guys to do that. Sorry I couldn't make it that night. I was invited, but appreciate the invite. Just couldn't make
Yeah,
it.
he was a nice guy. I didn't know him that well,
Hmm.
but
That
yeah,
was a
we
good
had him on.
connection.
We had him on the show
Yep.
twice, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
we had him in.
Yeah,
We
it's
all had a
funny how we all kind of gravitated to chat rooms and things like that, and then you start seeing the same people, and a lot of the same
no.
people are drawn to the same shows and things like that, and
Mhm.
that's really kind of where we got together. So that's cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mostly interacted with him through Discord, but then
Mhm.
that was back in the days when Barry Dave Barry's Discord server was like hot, but ever.
Yeah, well, people
And
grow, they expand, they move on, they get what they need out of it, and they just move on, and that's good too.
I just discovered that it was a tremendous time waster. That you'd go into there, and like 6 hours later, and it would just fly by, and you wouldn't even realize what had happened. It was just a massive time
But did
waster.
you get something out of it? Why did you spend 6 hours
Well,
in there?
well, sure, you always get something out of it, but
So it wasn't really a
see,
time waster.
it's always got to be like give and take, because
Hmm.
like I
Uh-huh.
put in the comment for the pre-show or whatever, the most precious thing that you have is your time, and by spending your time with other people and them spending their time with you, you have like the an exchange of like the most valuable thing in the universe that you have, because what
Hmm.
else makes up your life but time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know
Well,
and it's a big choice that you make, like do I spend my time with this person or these people or
right.
these people,
Yep.
you know
Very picky, very choosy on who I spend time with as well. The
Mhm.
most important person I spend time with is myself. I really, really enjoy meditating. I've got a little routine that I do in the morning. I like connecting with self and source. But I also get a lot of enjoyment knowing that there's others out there that are kind of feeling the same way, and that attracts those people, and like attracts like. And yeah,
See, yeah, I was kind of like the opposite. I was always like the extrovert.
Yeah.
but became an introvert the instant that I moved to Germany.
Yeah.
Because although I do know every single one of my neighbors,
Mhm.
the fact that I never learned German at a collegiate level, like in
Mhm.
other words, I can't speak it the same way I can speak Czech
Mhm.
or English. The amount of conversations and their depth is kind of limited. I mean, there's only so much you can say, and like let's say you took Spanish in high school. Like, can you imagine having a conversation with somebody in Spanish? That would be meaningful. Like, what would you say?
Mhm.
You would say, "Oh yeah, this is nice. Oh, the weather's nice. Oh yes,
Uh-huh.
it's very nice."
Uh-huh. Or
Yeah,
we have a Hispanic couple that lives next door, but I happen to speak Spanish, so it's interesting. They they vibe on a whole different vibe, and they're very family oriented. And of course, I'm retired, and I like quiet, and the solitude is nice. And then all of a sudden, you got screaming kids next door jumping on a trampoline, having a great time, and it's like, you know what? I wish I could go over there and just jump on that trampoline for a few times and just kind of have some fun. Um, but
yeah,
yeah, it's just a smile, an acknowledgement, that's connection. um people understand what that's all about. um yeah,
yeah.
I'm an
Smile is universal,
yeah, exactly, I'm an introvert,
And
gosh. I am
technology,
so off tonight. I don't know what's going on. I'm an
technology
introvert
is
that
a
rebelled. I like that, Mark. I really like that. That's
yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Well, and of course, the work that I did, I had to be very social. So I'd be social all day long, and then I'd come home and shut the door and close the blinds and just be like goodbye to the world and just like be in my now, and and
I can
then
understand
get
that
up
too.
and do it all over the next day. But yeah, and so you do what you have to do, but you don't have to do that all the time. You don't have to be connected, but just making a connection is important, and I think that's what the guides were really,
And
pushing.
yeah, like I said, it's also important to exercise discrimination and discernment, and as
Mhm.
to who you connect with.
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
like they say, you are the sum total of the 12 people that you hang out with the most.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
that
you're going to be influenced by them. And so even in things like political opinions or even like your socioeconomic status, if you're hanging out with old losers, then you're going to be a loser too, because if you're a good friend, especially if you're a good friend, they're going to want to keep you in their friendship group.
Mhm.
So, they're not
Yeah.
going to want to see you get ahead, because when you
Yeah.
get ahead, you're going to hang out with different people, and they don't want that because they want
Yeah.
to keep you as a friend.
Yep.
Do you think that
Social structures
like
are
Elon Musk has the same friends that he had when he was 18?
wow.
Probably not.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, something we don't?
No, no, I'm asking, like, do you
Yeah.
think he's got the same friends now that he had when he was
Mm.
18? Probably not.
Do you think they're genuine, or is it all about the money? That's the hard part right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's genuine. I'm
Sure,
sure,
sure. I'm sure there's a genuine connection, but when you have that kind of money, everybody wants to be your friend. That's just
well, uh, I
mm,
wouldn't I wouldn't say so, because I
mm.
know I know three very high net worth individuals.
Well,
And
maybe that's a generalization, um, because I mean, look at what happened with those people that went down to the Titanic, and that was really all about money and the thrill of it, and
mhm.
that didn't work out too well for them. So I'm just making the point that sometimes money kind of muddies
Yeah,
the
but
waters. Let's put it that way.
yeah, but if you were to describe that situation, it's like, okay, so you pay $250,000 to get
Yeah,
into a homemade tin can
yeah,
and go 3 miles under the water.
yeah.
Are you crazy?
And die in the darkness and be crushed. It's
Yes.
unfortunate, it really is, but
Yeah.
that's the choice that those people made. But yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. Yep. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, hanging out
Well,
with the
hi.
rubber duckies.
We had
Yeah.
Jackie J
Yeah.
join us
Hi,
and
Jackie
Doug.
J.
Doug
Yeah,
Stack and
kind of a
Steve
kickback,
and
relaxed night tonight, guys. Nothing heavy. We're just chit-chatting about human connection and how we make human connection with others. And
I would say that, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And I
Mhm.
Awesome.
would say I would quote unquote blame all my success
Mhm.
on the people that I know. It's not what I know. It's not how many encyclopedias can you memorize, how many foreign languages do you speak. No, it's about the quality and amount and quality of the people that you know,
Mhm.
and being able to like put them together in your mind. Like, all right, I know a guy that can do this. I know a guy that can do this. I know a woman that does this. How do I put them together?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
granted, a situation that where there's something that I want to bring about, and
Yeah.
to a degree that does involve like being somewhat of a chess player
Mhm.
in a non-nefarious way. But just the fact that you're able to make those connections and then connect people with each other, is in and of itself, I'd say, one of the most valuable skills that you can ever have.
Mhm. Yep, definitely. Friendships as well. I mean,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
basically what you're talking about is friendships. But friendships that have that give and take, where you're fair with your friendship.
Hmm.
If you need my help, I'm there to help you, and if you can help me, that's great. And there's a great appreciation and love for that kind of friendship and love. So yeah, and not to be, just be the friend that you want to be and that you would
Yeah.
want in your life. And when you do those things, then you attract those types of people. But
Totally.
you just don't let people take advantage of you or treat you any way that you don't want to be treated. You just, that's one thing about spiritual people. You do something like that to them and they will cut you off real fast.
Hmm.
It will drop you like a
Hmm.
hot rock.
Oh yeah.
What's
Yeah.
my problem is my successful friends and clients have offered me success and I don't take it because I don't feel I deserve it. Hmm.
Well, it's always a trade-off, because it's not
Yeah.
like, okay, here's success, like it comes in a box and you open it. No, it doesn't
Hmm.
work that way.
Is there
It
always
comes with
some kind of ulterior motive for
it
why they're
is
doing it? I mean, are
it's
they doing it because they really are trying to be good to you, and or are
it's
they
it
doing it to
always got
gain
strings
something?
attached.
Yeah, strings attached. See, that's what's so hard to figure out. But when you understand truth and truth rings for you and people they're not showing you who they truly are, that's when that little truth meter goes off. But
well, I think with Amber and Doug can relate to this because
mm-hmm,
um, so often, and I've dealt with people on a human resources level, just trying to help them become more leader like, with leadership development.
mm-hmm,
They don't see the value, their own value, and so they don't feel they're deserving of the attention. And so they turn away the ability, because in order to be successful, you have to make connections in business. And
yeah,
with
yep,
your clients and
yep.
coworkers and
But you
managers.
can do it with integrity. That's my point is
Mhm.
if you do it with integrity and you don't allow others to misuse your good nature or the love that you try to show others, as long as you can create the boundaries and the barriers, that's really the way to do it.
Well, what
I
I
don't.
was getting ready to say is that if you can find that love of for yourself inside yourself and just tell yourself every day you have value, and what are my talents, what are my gifts, what am I good at, what do I love to do, and how and I make that a success for myself, so then when I'm interacting with others and connecting with others at work or even in my family for that matter,
Hmm.
how can I show them the tools that I use to bring out those things in myself? And then you start finding out that you have the gift to make connections, and then you become more sociable. It's like a formula that gets followed, but it all starts with the appreciation of yourself. So one of the greatest things you can do, one of the greatest self-love acts of self-love that you could do, is to actually come out of your comfort zone and
Hmm.
make those connections with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more you connect, the more energy you're sharing with them.
The yes, Chloe, you got it. Self-love is the most important love. Just be you.
Hmm.
You know what?
That's what I'm
Everyone on
saying. Thank
every
you, Chloe.
human being, yeah, good one. Every human being on this earth is worthy of that love. Okay, now I lost my camera. Every one of us is worthy of it, whether you think you're not. It, it's just a state of understanding and a state of mind. But I've been shown that we are very, very loved and appreciated on the other side. And we chose to come here to really work at this. And this is just a big school to learn. And you got to know what you don't want before you know what you do want. So,
Mhm.
And learning
Well,
how to trust other people is an important aspect too, because
but yeah,
if
also
you don't
learning how
trust
to
yourself, then
mhm.
how can you trust other people? So you start with trusting your own
Exactly.
self.
Yep, that's exactly it. Yep.
well,
That's
it's
why it's
It's very
so
also
different.
important to have that relationship with yourself first. Then you can work on the rest of it. But so
it's
many are
also
looking for others for that support and love that they don't realize that it comes from you first. And that was really difficult to for me to learn. And now I get
Hey, Deborah, welcome, Sloaney. Sloaney's here.
it.
it's also important to have discernment and not trust every single person. You know, it's
Yeah.
knowing
Right.
who not to trust. That's
Yep.
just as
Brian,
important as knowing who to trust.
Yep.
Were
And
you getting ready to say something, Brian?
Uh, I was just getting ready to start talking about what Delbar. It's knowing who to trust,
Mm-hmm.
Uh
yeah,
huh.
and I
see,
can tell just by getting around people. I can feel their energy, and
mhm.
it'd be like, okay, there's something about that person there I don't want to connect with.
Oh yeah.
But then there's other people. It's like their energy is familiar. It's like we had a connection in a previous life. I believe that majority of my connections are continuations from connections that I've had in previous lives.
Yeah, totally.
I am a hot mess today. I can't speak. I can't get my screen to work. I can't get my computer to. I'm a hot mess. Wow.
Hmm, happens.
But you're our hot mess, so that matters.
Yep.
Shit.
Doug's making a comment here.
Okay, Doug.
I know I don't want to feel worthless, but I don't
Hmm.
feel my story is that inspiring.
It
That's
is
that
inspiring.
trust in self I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Trust yourself. Trust that your story has meaning to someone. It might not
Mm.
have meaning or significance to everyone, but you never know who you're going to touch by sharing. So you step out of your comfort zone and just start sharing, and you have done a lot of that here, and you've helped a lot of people on this program because I've seen it in the chat.
Yeah. Don't
So
underestimate yourself. Don't belittle yourself. Don't do that.
See,
Don't. Ooh, I cannot stress that enough. It's so easy to put yourself down and to belittle yourself and say, I'm stupid or I'm this or I'm that. Try flipping that script. I'm not stupid. I'm just having a moment. Let it
see,
pass.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, see, the fact that friendship has tremendous value was known since ancient times by the richest people on our planet, even to this very day. It's been known about since ancient times. That's why you have secret societies,
Uh-huh.
and that's what they're all about. When you join one of these secret societies like the Freemasons, that's what you get. You get like an instant huge network of friends that you can rely on worldwide. And I would say, that's also the difference between having a successful life, whether that's financially or personally, and
Hmm.
not having a successful life. I would bring up the fact that in my country, Czechoslovakia or Czech Republic, friendship is taken very seriously. It's always a give and take situation, and it's always got money involved, and it's not something to be taken lightly. I'll give you a good example. Under the communist regime, there was basically only one secret society in the whole country, and that was the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia. The,
Hmm.
the Freemasons were not allowed. The Catholic Church was not allowed. Basically, it was infiltrated. All the religions were like kept under wraps. So that was the secret society. So if you wanted to be successful in that world, you had to join the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia. And all those people that did, they were successful, although not monetarily during the communist regime, because under the communist regime, everybody had the same pay. Whether if you were a surgeon, brain surgeon, you made the same amount of money as a ditch digger. You took home the same pay. You may have had like better fringe benefits. You may have gotten on better vacations, or maybe you had a chauffeur take you to work or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you took home the same pay that everybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
Except, all these people knew each other. So what happened after the revolution and, communism was overthrown? Those
Mm-hmm.
connections didn't just go away. So all these people that basically started out with nothing, like within 5 years, became the not just the political elites, but the monetary and financial elites of the same country, because they already had these connections. They knew they could trust each other
Mm-hmm.
from their previous interactions. And I think that's a great example of how your friends really make who you are, and it's very important to take those relationships seriously.
Mm-hmm. Steve saying, I decided to have a good time while I'm here, whether that be long or short. That's how I feel about it. And also, Pa Joe, you're going. Also, Pa Joe had made a comment back here that he was told, or he's a very old soul. And we're all old souls, you guys. We are all old souls.
Mhm. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had an answer to how many people I've helped change. Also, even if it's just that it's satisfying and I'm grateful for helping. Yeah, being a business owner, you've helped a lot of people, make a living, and you support them, and you
Hmm.
keep everything going. You get the bills paid, you do what you got to do. But yeah, it's very important the type of work that you do, because whether you're changing tires, washing cars, or whatever you're doing in a business, you're supporting the public and you're creating a service for others. And that's really important.
Hmm.
Yeah. Awesome.
And it's also important to know that if you're in just a purely business relationship, especially if you're like the owner of a company and you have employees, uh, you can't really mix friendship and business in that you can't really be friends with your employees.
Hmm. Yeah, those kind of connections. You can definitely be friends, but
Well, you can.
you got to create those boundaries and barriers.
That's the thing. Yeah, you could. The what a
That'll
lot
get
of
you in
people
trouble.
do, what a lot of people do, especially in Eastern Europe,
Uh-huh.
they'll get trashed with their employees.
Yeah.
They'll get trashed with their coworkers. There's a lot of drinking.
Hmm.
But being drunk with somebody, that's like not the same thing as being a real friend.
Hmm.
Being a drinking buddy and being a friend, that's two different
Well,
things.
that's the
Not
alcohol
necessarily
talking.
mutually exclusive, but
Yeah.
you'll talk about some things, but you won't talk about everything.
Hmm. Yep. So true. Yeah.
In
Hmm.
other words, there's things that you can talk about with a friend, a true friend, in an uncensored environment
Hmm.
that you would never
And no,
talk
it
about.
won't be repeated.
Won't be repeated, exactly.
No,
That you
that
can't
those are
talk
hard
about.
to find. Yep.
Yeah.
Those types of people that will hold that.
It's also why it's important to know people physically, that you can physically touch. That's one of the things that I miss about not living in my old country, is the fact that, I didn't lose any of my friends. I just never get to see them physically. I
Hmm.
only get to see them through the medium of, the lower astral that's known as the internet. Things
Yeah.
like Skype,
Hmm.
Discord, StreamYard, whatever. So
Gotcha.
no, it's not the same thing. And it's if like you guys came over to my house, of course, I'd sit you down, I'd maybe cook up some lasagna, or I
Hmm.
don't know, make some Chinese food from
Hmm.
scratch, you
Yep.
know.
Yep. And just enjoy each other's company, and
Yeah,
not be on all the time, like you have to be a certain way. You can just be yourself and
mhm,
enjoy the company of others. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like the one-on-one. I really do. It's that group thing that sometimes makes it difficult, but it's all good.
Sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, because you don't really know what a person's like until you've seen their home. You really don't.
Isn't that the
Uh,
truth? Yeah,
yeah.
you
So
see how they live. Yeah.
yeah, you
Yep.
don't know what my kitchen looks like.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
many knickknacks I have. I mean, yeah. In other words, I do have a lot of knickknacks because, as I always say, like when I was young, we were so poor. We were so poor that we had no knickknacks. we had, we had,
Who needs a flippin' knick-knack?
yeah,
But especially when you have your
Knick-knack,
my
rubber
paddywhack,
duck
ducky.
back
paddywhack.
there. That's all you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
is that ducky.
Hmm. And all it symbolizes, which
Hmm.
is connection. It
Well,
symbolizes
I can
connection.
so relate to you, Dalivor, because I tell you, it's been difficult these past couple of years when
Yeah.
everything started happening and I stopped camping. I didn't have the kids anymore. I didn't have those
Hmm.
kind of friendships. And
Hmm.
you miss that social close bonding when you're
Yeah,
right
because
next to someone else by a
same
campfire
here. Yeah,
and you're
same here.
kicking
Because
back and
yeah,
having
I
a
used to.
beer, roasting a marshmallow,
Yeah.
and
I was camping is just a pretext for drinking. That's
yeah,
all I have to say about that. But aside from that, it was always my house that was a party house,
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
always. And
Yeah.
whether it
Mine
was
too. Mine too. Yeah,
not planned, people would just
yeah,
show up with boxes of beer or whatever,
yeah.
like
Every
voila.
Friday night on my front lawn, every Friday night
Same
or
Hmm.
here.
Saturday night,
Yeah.
all the
Friday night
neighbors would
usually.
come from
Hmm.
uphill, up the hill, down the hill, and
Hmm.
they'd come with different drinks and they'd bring snacks, and we'd end up sitting out there until 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, just having a good
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't see that anymore. And
No.
the other
Uh-uh.
thing I noticed, the other thing I noticed is these kids. They're out of school now, and this community used to be hopping. I mean,
Yeah.
the kids were out here playing football and soccer, and the adults were all in there with them with the basketball hoop. We set up all kinds of sporting events for them and water slides. And I told Lori the other day they're all in isolation in their own backyards. One
Hmm.
kid by themselves with an adult or just by themselves on a
Hey,
swing set
go to any restaurant, and you see a family and you see the kids are like this. They're into this
and a
thing the
cell
whole
phone.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they're
Oh
yeah,
all
yeah.
are
Yeah.
like that.
That's
Yeah.
Oh,
mental.
listen, the last two camping trips we went on, they about drove us nuts because they brought their tablets. And they wanted to stay inside the RV where it was air conditioned, and just be glued to their tablets.
Yeah, it's like
Instead of
what's the
out having the activities that we normally have at a campground when we're out kayaking or swimming or I
Hmm.
know when I was camping as a kid, I was in the water all day long. It didn't
Oh
matter if it was
yeah.
Mhm.
water skiing
Yeah.
or just floating and kicking around and
Yeah.
playing water sports. We had water volleyball and all kinds of stuff. And these kids don't want to do anything physical. They just want to be glued to that technology.
Isn't it
They're
something
plugging
that,
in.
yeah, that all of us here on the panel is old enough to remember when you had one phone, it was in the kitchen and it had a long cord.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
Oh
You
yeah.
went outside to play and you made toys to play with,
yeah.
like a
You
Oh
rubber
made
yeah.
your own
band
toys.
gun, or your parachute guys you throw
Slingshot.
up.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
always found something to do, and nowadays
Hmm.
kids are just into the cell phone and the tablets and playing the games and doing all of that. And there's a lot of social interaction. I mean, we're socially interacting. I mean, we've met through this. And so there's some good
yeah,
things about it, but it's like how you use it is really the key, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Sure.
but
Yeah. Because
we didn't have cell phones back in the day. I mean, it wasn't till the late 80s, early 90s that we got the cell phone.
Well,
I
you know
remember the
something.
first one I ever got. I couldn't believe it. $300 phone bill. I about fell over. And that
hmm
was in the late 80s, early 90s.
You know what I noticed though in the '90s when all this technology, it
Mhm.
came out 70s, 80s. And by the time the '90s, late '90s rolled around, going into 2000,
Mhm.
people's attitudes and behaviors in the work environment were changing as a result of it. And what I'm saying is that some things were very good about it in terms of research or
Mhm.
um, conference calling. There were good things that came out of it, but people lost that ability to hold your attention or to listen to you, to actually hear you. So this Lucky Stone, if you catch his video he did today, he did a fantastic video. And one of the things that he was talking about there was empathetic listening skills.
Mm-hmm.
Listening with compassion, actually listening to somebody to understand them.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened in the business model is people were chop, chop, chop. We can get information faster. We can do more. We can do more productivity, work related. So it left all the interpersonal communication skills out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
And when they weren't doing work, they were playing computer games or they were on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did that in front of their kids, and their kids picked up the habit.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening is that energy that's being put out into the universe is a disconnected type of energy. Even though we have the virtual world to accomplish certain things like this show right now,
Mm-hmm.
when we're away from this show,
Mm-hmm.
what's the next thing we're doing? We're getting pinged on our phones, or we're on our tablets, or we're on our TV. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Yeah,
replaced human communication.
but again, the medium is what you make use of it for.
Yeah, and I
You know,
agree with
it's
that.
because if you just take YouTube alone, I mean, you could spend all day looking at jumping cat videos, or stupid shit like that. But
Mm-hmm.
you could also use it as a
Expand your mind.
postgraduate
Yeah.
university
Teaching.
level course material
Yep.
there.
Yep.
You could learn a skill. You could learn anything you want.
That's what I found I
Yeah.
did when we were in the pandemic was I was able to really go inside and I was like, I had all these questions about what was going on. And so I started looking into YouTube and I just listened and I absorbed and I just took in everything I could about what was going on and made my own decision on what I felt was going on. And, but yeah, it's how you use it. You can use technology for good or you can use it for bad, but every once in a while I'll set it down or I'll turn it off and
Hmm.
I'll go sit in the sun or do something else. There's other things I can do,
Like
but
Gaza.
yeah,
Yeah.
being different between our generations, I paint, do woodwork, gardening, and only watch Star Trek and Star Wars and watch Star Trek and Star Wars. That's cool.
This
Nothing
is
wrong
funny,
with
Mark.
that.
Mark, my phone is in the microwave having quality alone time.
Hmm.
That's good.
Hmm.
That's awesome. I love it. They're having a little get together, aren't they?
I hope this is true, Scotty. I do. I think more people are becoming aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
how you
because
use it. Because I
because you're,
tell you,
you're
I don't want to give it up. I'm not letting it go. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I got an oracle right here. I can ask any question I want and
see
have it
that's
answered.
if you live only on the internet, you're only alive from the neck up. That's the problem. That's the problem.
That's
You
a good
need
one,
to,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
It's
need
true.
to use your whole body in some way,
Yeah. You
whether
need some
that's
human interaction.
not just human interaction, but even if it's something like, let's say, restoring an old vase, or
Hmm.
working on your house, working on your car,
Yeah.
uh, skills like that. Home repair and improvement. That can be fun
Hmm.
sometimes.
Yep. Most
So
definitely.
I do
It's
it
funny.
for a living. It's not fun.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that depends on what it is.
True.
If it's, I can see why it wouldn't be fun to like resurface your driveway. Yeah, that's not fun. Or
Hmm.
So, can we address the? There's a lot of folks, whether they're elderly or partially disabled,
Hmm.
or even critically ill, that
Hmm.
are having to be in somewhat isolated to get treatment or to
Hmm.
survive, and they want so bad to reach out to others, and they crave and desire and have a very strong will to be connected. And technology is one of the ways that enables those folks to do that, fortunately.
Hmm.
Otherwise, they might not be able to at all. And so many of them don't have family to come by and visit or to spend time with them. So luckily, they do have some programs in these places that they stay at
Mm-hmm.
where they interact with one another, because that's very important to get them to interact, because they have a tendency. When I was working at the nursing homes, I found them sitting in their wheelchairs in a corner of a hallway, just totally disconnected and sobbing and crying. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's really important, I think, for me, just like when I want to spread joy to others, it gives me a joyful feeling to connect with those people, not to the point where it drains me energetically or to where my empathy takes over my emotions, but to have enough compassion to give them, even if it's just 5 minutes. And so people will send me text messages and people will send me comments, and I don't always get to them right away. And it could be 7 days before I get back to them sometimes.
I don't know how you do it sometimes, Teresa. You
Uh,
are really connected. You are like intertwined and out
there's
there
a lot of
all
people
the
out there,
time. Mm-hmm.
and everybody has a problem at some point with something.
Sure. Or they
Like,
don't understand the technology. Sometimes they don't know how to work the technology, and that's tough
right,
too.
yeah, and they'll leave snippets of voice messages,
Mm-hmm.
and what's happening is that because they're not getting responses quickly enough, I think
Mm-hmm.
what I've observed is that it undermines their confidence, and so they
Yeah.
become more
Mm-hmm.
needy, more needy,
We're
Mm-hmm.
despondent.
or
Mm-hmm.
despondent. But in their communications, they're just so sad, and they're focusing on only all the worst possible things they could possibly focus on.
It's hard to stay positive when you're in a state
Yeah,
like that. It really
Yeah.
is. And to pull yourself out takes great strength. It's not easy.
yeah.
So having that connection to
Hmm.
someone else really could. I watched a YouTube video, as a matter of fact, of a lady who was in her early 90s, and she was in a home, and this young gal would go in and she found a recording of this woman who was dancing and singing, and she literally played it for her. And it was so emotional to watch that, because the gal was watching herself in the 20s perform and sing in her prime. And it just, you could tell it meant the world to her. But, things like that, stuff like that is what you want to see. 4 years, 3 months, 22 days
He's
since I what?
he's no.
Well,
Uh-uh.
that's kind of an
I
exaggeration.
did not. Hi, Barry, brother. Hi, Barry. Doug, you crack me up. But no, that is true. I will sometimes, how Facebook has these feeds, and if you're not on top of it every day, or even like I'll get one from 2 years ago that's just now coming across my feed, and I'll say, when did she comment on that? Wait, so to some extent, is true. I'll respond though. When I see it, I will respond. Well, but it could be months later. But yeah, it happens. But
See, yeah,
that's not true,
that's why
though.
I consciously, one of the reasons why I'm consciously not taking part in Facebook, why I don't have a Facebook page, because that's the same reason why, I no longer visit the Discords as much, because it's just such a time waster, and it's not always like good conversation. It's always like literally chit chat.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
about
yeah,
nothing.
Yeah. Yep, life is a challenge. We came here to be superstars, and we all are
Hmm.
superstars, but it's not easy. It's not an
yeah.
easy journey,
Hmm.
but we make
Yeah,
it.
and
We do it.
see, and that's the thing. I'm in a different time zone than you guys are, so
Mhm.
you guys are like at the top of your game, while I'm about to go to bed. So I'm not necessarily at the top of my game right now. So
Mhm.
that's also kind of a different dynamic that enters the equation,
Mhm. It's
because a
really
lot
a
of my
moment
friends,
by moment deal.
yeah, it's a lot of my friends are in the United States or
Mhm.
Europe. So it's kind of tough, or Australia. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
you have friends. You have
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
connections and you have
Oh,
true,
way
true
more than you
connection.
could shake a fist at.
Yeah. And I'd rather have a few good friends than a million that aren't.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well, you
true.
Yeah.
gotta, like I
That's
Mm-hmm.
said,
very
you gotta have the
true.
discernment,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
if somebody betrays you, or if you, better yet, if you see somebody betray somebody else, that's a good indication that he's going to betray you as well. If
Mm-hmm.
he's
Yep.
Hmm.
behaved unethically to somebody else, um, then you
Yep.
probably don't want to have anything to do with them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be very cautious.
Yeah.
No, well, it
Yeah.
goes without saying, but
Yeah.
yeah, discernment is the key, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, power of communication and connections. Power of connections goes both ways.
Hmm.
True.
So if some things aren't going down that make you comfortable or that make you feel like you've been taken advantage of in any way or isn't healthy for you,
Hmm.
not communicating or not making a connection says just as much as making one does.
No,
Sometimes it's
yeah, I could
things
have gone for
Yeah.
a
we
submarine
don't
riding.
say, huh?
Yeah, I could have been in that submarine. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
yeah. I'm not that claustrophilic. I don't think I would have. I don't think you could pay me enough to get into like some tin can that some guy made in his garage because that thing hadn't passed any tests. It wasn't certified by any government authority because there is no government authority that certifies
yeah.
submarines. And so the fact that it withstood, I don't know how many dives, like 28 dives before that, there's no indication of the fact that it's going to not collapse in on itself when it goes down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of sports that it's not that I'm a coward or anything like that, within reason. I just won't do anything stupid like, I don't know, like mountain skiing, no, not my
It's good.
bag,
Not your bag?
not my bag, no.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, Amber. It really is.
Yes.
Good to see
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for
It's been a
acknowledging the
while.
positivity because, boy, there
Yeah,
sure is not enough of that in the world. So,
we need
and that's
more of
why we
it.
focus on it so much, is just because that's where we choose to be. That's where I want to be.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
just keeping it positive. But, hmm.
But if
yeah,
you speaking of that submarine story, ever
Mm-hmm.
notice how the media just milked it to the very last minute? Yet
Mm-hmm.
the
yeah.
military knew the whole time that the submarine had exploded, and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't tell anybody. They only told everybody like right when
Even
it was.
James Cameron knew that the
Yeah,
material that they made that out of was substandard and wouldn't hold up.
yeah, yeah.
And he was even invited to be a part of that. And he was making
That's
Avatar
like
2 and said,
how many
"No,
people?
I'm good."
It's
Hmm.
like how many
Yeah,
people can you fit in a Volkswagen? And now let's drive it off the end of the pier and see how long it'll float.
yeah.
I just
It
can't
was a little
imagine,
tin can.
yeah, what they went through, complete darkness. And then, but here's the good thing, the positive thing is it was quick and it was over like that.
True.
So
Yep.
that's
Yeah,
the only good thing about it. But very sad
and
situation.
they probably didn't even see it coming.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Crazy, crazy. And again, that's all, we only hear about this because these people were all super rich.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's incidents that happen like that where you don't hear about it just because those people are not super rich and famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Total
That's very true.
tragedy. Just,
Hmm.
and I feel for the families that lost their loved ones. And I mean, you had that young kid and his father. That's a big part of someone's family gone. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
you gotta, your heart goes out to those kind of people. But you also have to take responsibility for your choices. And
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. I know.
that's where it got you. But it's all good now. Oh.
And a lot of these like unknown deaths and weird situations, people make fun of them, like with the Darwin Awards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's people that do crazy stuff like that all the time. You know, like the
Yeah.
guy that took a jet, like a jet engine, and attached it to his car. or the guy
Could
who
you imagine
attached.
doing that to a wheelchair?
Yeah, can you imagine that? Yeah, or the guy who attached like six
Or a
military
skateboard?
helium balloons to his lawn
Close here.
chair,
Come here.
and then
Hmm.
launched himself up like 29,000 feet into
With
like
no
black,
parachute, I bet.
with no parachute. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, there was no suffering, that's for sure, Amber. No suffering down there. Just lights out. Yep,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Anyway, well,
Yes.
yeah. It's
Well, just for folks who are, for anyone who might be listening right
mhm,
now, who isn't in chat but who's listening intently, or those who will be listening, and you've been holding back,
mhm,
thinking you're not worthy, or who cares about what you have to say, or
mhm,
know that you have us. You know, you can always come into our chat room, and there's a lot of wonderful people interacting in there, even
mhm,
if it's for just 5 minutes to make that connection.
mhm. Yeah,
And
very.
there's things that Lori pointed out in our video. If you didn't get to see the opening video or the show trailer for this program, there were some tips in there on what you could do each
Mm,
day to start reaching out and connect and making those connections. There's also a lot of programs and coaches out there that can coach you through roadblocks that prevent you from reaching out. But one of the things that's the most harmful for yourself is isolating because you think you're alone and you can't make connections. And that's sad because um, that just puts you in a frame of vibrating at such a frequency that you feel things get out of hand, and that's when depression kicks in and anxiety and health problems. So making human connections with others, even if it's joining a local group
mhm,
or volunteering for a food service like a help food kitchen, or even local churches or communities that have shows like theater in the
mhm.
round, or
Yep.
um, just it only takes one step. Just put one foot in front of the other and do something for 5 minutes every day. Start by talking to people when you go
Mhm.
out
Hey,
grocery
Scotty boy.
shopping,
Yeah.
Yep. I
right?
don't know about
Everybody.
you guys, but I want to have a block party with Scotty Boy.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, but do we have
Yeah.
to wear pants? Scotty,
Yeah, you better.
Scotty, well, Scotty won't be there if you have to wear pants.
Don't come in your tighty whitey, Scotty. That would just
Well, I'm
not be
Well,
definitely.
good.
I'll
you have to at
definitely
least
be
have
wearing.
boxers.
I'll definitely be wearing glasses. Whatever that means. No,
Well,
but
that's good to know. I always enjoy these Friday night conversations with you all. I cannot be in the comment section much, but I'm here listening and loving. That's so
see,
cool.
see,
See,
Um,
that's great.
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing. Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me or whatever, I'm on Skype. Um,
yep.
usually, usually I don't have time, but I'll make time
He
because
will too.
Yep.
right
Let me tell
now
you,
I'm
he
talking
will.
to 8 people right now that I'm open
Yeah,
windows.
yeah. I'm the
But
same way. I've got two or
and
three
some,
text boxes open and a Skype with
yeah,
him, and yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're quite
sometimes I
the
screw up and
networker there, Teresa.
well, I
yeah,
think we all are. Even Grandpa Brian. I mean, he might think
Ooh,
just because he's quiet, he's always out there networking,
yeah.
and
You know what's really cool about Grandpa Brian, and you only know this if you get his texts every morning, but every single morning he says good morning. He makes it a priority. And I don't know how many people you reach, Grandpa Brian, but
35.
yeah, I figured it was pretty high up
wow,
there.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, he doesn't just say good morning. He actually
mhm,
has a blessing in there and an intent
mhm.
with it to
Yep. And it's
Yep.
help
very
you
much
start your day.
appreciated. Yeah, most
And
definitely.
Princess Collins is right there with him.
I
So
was just
Yep.
gonna include her as well. I see that as well, and I don't
yeah,
comment as much as I could, um, but
yeah,
there's always
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a good way to start my day, and I get connected
Sure.
with a lot of people that
Mm-hmm.
way.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Speaking
pretty
of
incredible,
connections,
actually.
Speaking of connections, folks, for those of you who reached out and responded, to Delaney Pearl Jones and her need for emergency relief funds and
Mm-hmm.
housing, it really paid off for her. It got her through a very sticky situation with her son, and they're now, as of today, moved in to a temporary shelter, which was an old
Wow.
hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, cool.
so they have a roof over their head and
Good.
food on the
Mm-hmm.
table, and I
And
think
I
she'll
know
be
they have
starting.
clean clothes.
Yep.
Mhm.
And they'll be starting a. She'll be starting a new job, I believe. I think she said in the beginning of July, and that will bring in the income that she needs to support her son. And she's also
Good.
looking at apartments and people to team up with to help co-rent the
Awesome.
space.
Awesome. She's
But
on her way.
she asked me to tell you all, thank you. She
Oh,
can't thank you enough.
oh,
And she's very, very grateful for those who were able to help and those who were sending in tents as well, because she knows not everybody can make a contribution financially.
yeah.
So she's really on her way. She
Mm-hmm.
still needs a little bit, because you can, but at least she's in a shelter that they provide them
Mm-hmm.
with meals
And she
now
got
too.
out of that relationship that just wasn't
That
good for her
Yeah.
or her
abusive,
son. And God bless her for having the strength to do it, because that's the first step. And a lot of good things are
Mhm.
coming her way now.
That's
So
part of
good for
discernment.
her. Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Yep.
doing
And
something
sometimes
epic.
that's hard. It's hard to make those adjustments, and it's a lot
Yeah.
of change, and it's scary because you don't know what to expect. So I kudos to her. I honor her for being able to have the
Yeah.
strength to do that. So good for Delaney Pearl Jones.
And keep our sister Marsha Price in your good intents and thoughts.
Mhm.
She lost her puppy and her dog
Oh.
and had to put him down, and she had the courage to do it, and she did it in her own home.
That's good.
She brought someone in to help so that the dog would feel more comfortable with its passing
Hmm.
in an environment that it was familiar with. And it happened really fast, so it took her by surprise and it practically knocked her off her feet. She was quite overwhelmed
It's
by it,
brutal. It's
but she did
brutal.
what she needed to
Mhm.
do, and she had
Yep.
a lot of courage to do
Yep.
to do
She
it.
did what she had to do for that pup.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
yeah.
is those kinds of things are not easy. None of it's
No,
easy.
they're not.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
But you're definitely stronger for having
Yep.
gotten through it and doing it. So that there's a lot of growth that comes from that. And also too, that pet had a wonderful, wonderful life. That pup was well taken care of, well loved, and just honored. And so she can feel good about that. Most
You know
definitely.
what was really cool? She
Mm-hmm.
had a couple video clips of her son
Mm-hmm.
playing in the park,
Mm-hmm.
and Delaney, she hadn't seen her son play
Happy.
outdoors. He wasn't allowed to go outside.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So her taking this step into freedom will help this boy probably exponentially develop some skills now that he couldn't previously do. And he is very tuned in, apparently, and he does have a lot of intelligence, and he's just challenged on the spectrum. And
Mm-hmm.
now he'll get the attention that he needs and the outdoor and the freedom. He was walking a dog around the
That's so
park,
cool.
and his father wouldn't let him go outside. So that is
Mhm.
major. And you
Awesome.
all are an awesome part of that. Those that are listening that
Yep.
pitched in and responded on Facebook and here on on our different channels. So thank you everyone
Mm-hmm.
for everything
Yeah.
that you did for her.
Yeah.
You know, so
Thanks for showing up and caring, being
yeah,
a part of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Karen,
I would add to
uh,
that, the fact, since we're talking about animals, if you think back to like all the people that you've known that have had animals, usually they tend to be good with people as well. If you're
Mm-hmm.
good with
Yep.
animals, you're
Mm.
chances are you're probably a quality person.
Yeah.
If you've taken the step to take care of a member of a different species
Mm-hmm.
and made their life more meaningful, better than it would have been in the wild, then you've done your share, for for karma.
It's a soul.
Almost, you know, it's a soul agreement.
It's a soul
Yeah.
agreement, no doubt. No matter how that animal comes to you, it is a soul agreement.
Yeah, even if it's like a cricket or I don't know it doesn't matter. It's a soul. Every living
Yeah.
thing is a
And
soul.
respect all life. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Respect
every
life.
soul is equally as valid as any other soul. Every soul has the same value.
Yep.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Listen to Lucky Stone's video when you get a chance to,
Yeah, I
Gallagher.
did.
I'll drop it.
That's
Okay,
the
'cause he
one.
was
Yeah,
making that point. Yeah, he
I
was
know he
making that
was.
point. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so Karen dropped everything that day when she found out about Delaney, and they put the link on the website. Now the link didn't work right, but that's not Karen's fault. It's because we didn't have the right address for Delaney, but everybody figured it out, and she got plenty of help. So
That's good.
that was cool.
Yep.
And Chloe was the one that
Mhm.
one that brought it to Andromeda 7's attention so that we could get it out there. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah,
and
she's-
Al was the one who sent the message out about Isby
Yes.
to me so that I could get that
That's
out
what you
there
said.
to everybody.
That's
I got it out
good.
to Robert, Trina, everybody,
Yeah,
and you
That's
know,
cool.
so that's why we make these connections. Is to be able. And same thing with David Null.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody stepped up to help him too.
Yep.
So that's
Mhm.
what this community is all about, really. Making
Mhm.
these. That's why we said it's powerful.
Yeah.
And all that energy, you guys, that energy then goes out into the universe, so the whole collective consciousness benefits from it.
Right.
Too.
Yep. Just making
So
it a
that's
better place for everybody. Yeah.
little by little. Is that Delaney in there now? I just saw her name there.
No, Elderberry
Oh,
was commenting.
Yeah, I mean, she's getting settled in a new place
Yeah.
tonight. So
Scotty Boy says Chloe's always behind, lifting us all up. Love you, Chloe. Yep, sure
Yep.
do.
She is.
Yep.
Yep.
She's a prime example of
Every chat
love
room.
and support. Yeah, and she
Yeah.
puts it out there. So it's good to have a Chloe in your chat room. It's good to have an Elderberry. It's good to have a Scotty Boy. It's good to have a Susie Q, a Courtney MC. Welcome.
We have a Susie K in here tonight too.
Yes,
Not
Susie
just
K.
Susie Q, Susie
All
K.
of you are all
Drum
amazing
stud.
people. Yep.
Drum stud.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Amber
Yeah.
Dawn, same
Yep.
deal. Yep. Grumpy Stack and Lucky Stone. Yes. And Pa Joe, and Jackie J, all of you guys. So we really appreciate all of you. And, we genuinely are here for others. That is why we do this.
Yeah.
Not to hear
Yep.
ourselves talk, because
That's right.
I'm not crazy about that, but it's just to share our experiences and to learn and grow together. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
next
exactly.
week, next Friday, we're having Robert Bauer back. He's going to
Cool.
talk.
Great.
He's going to present his philosophy, Informatica, the
Cool.
metrics and the matrix from a
Nice.
Hermetic's first principle.
I'm excited to hear what he has to say
Mentalism.
and what his
Mentalism.
take
He's
is.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
but he has a philosophy he's created around it called Informatica. So that's going to be something new. Well, it is
Wonderful.
for a lot of us. A lot of folks know him already.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's joining us next Friday, and then
Great.
the following Friday, we're having Sophia, Alex. Alex is coming on to do a numerology to explain the year 7 and what's coming up in September and October with the eclipse that's coming along and how those energies are going to be shifting.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming in to explain a lot of what that, and I think Karen will be available to give an astrology update.
Oh, great. That would be
And
wonderful.
Then we'll pull cards, So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's good. We haven't seen Alex in a while, and he's been through different channels. He's got
Making the
a new
circuit,
channel.
huh?
Yeah,
Making the
he's got another
circuit.
new channel. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so we'll bring him back on. That'll be good. We haven't had
Yeah.
him on in a while, so
And
that's what's coming.
Yep. Good,
we're
good,
also
good.
going to be doing a second installment of Digging Deeper.
Yeah. Good for
Yes,
you guys.
we're recording that. We're recording it with Max Vision Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
Good.
This Sunday.
Boy,
we're
I
doing
can't
another part 2. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
hmm
Yeah. This,
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
I don't know when we'll upload it, but usually within a couple of days. Now that we have a process for doing it, we had to-
Yeah,
to
it's up
play
on
around
my
with
it's up on my BitChute channel, which is
Yep.
Sun Rabbit, not one word, 2 words. because I put it up on my YouTube channel and it got deleted within 2 hours. Wonder
Told you.
why?
Wow.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Told
know.
you. That's
Yeah.
why we went to the website with it. But BitChute is good too. And then we also both
Mhm.
posted on our Minds page.
Minds. Yeah.
Mhm.
Minds, MINDS, and I got 17 views or something like that.
Yeah, I got 41 views.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
They know
that's
you.
great.
I just
Yep.
joined. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, those kind of programs you have to kind of go to an uncensored platform. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mary
Yeah, that's-
wins. Wow. Hi, sweetie.
Hi, Mary.
Listen, I was in the garden and I was listening. Oh, good. Thanks.
Oh,
I'm
good.
glad you could.
Yeah.
And Courtney here.
I'm glad you were
Courtney's
in the
here.
garden just doing your thing. That's awesome. Good to know you were listening. Thanks for saying that.
Well,
And
you know, like
Courtney's
this,
here.
And Courtney.
like
Yep. Hi,
just
Courtney.
like that brings an interesting analogy. You know, remember that song? Friends are like flowers, beautiful flowers. Friends are like flowers in the garden of life.
Yeah. That's cool.
Remember
I
that?
like that. I
Yeah.
don't, but it's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Are you a daisy? Are you a rose? Are you a daffodil? Friends are like flowers, beautiful flowers. Friends are like flowers in the garden of life.
I
That's
love your
cute,
serenades,
Dalibor.
Dalibor. We just
That's
love your
cute.
serenades.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for being you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep.
I can't help it. I can't be anybody else. I'm not gonna be. Who am I
No.
gonna be? Like,
Everyone else is taken. That's why you
Yeah,
just
that's
gotta
right.
do you. Yeah.
Did Courtney just say she's getting back into YouTube Live?
Mm-hmm.
She has this series on the Emerald tablets that's pretty darn good. If you all haven't caught that,
Mm-hmm.
so she's got check out her library of shows, her playlists, but she covers a lot of ground for.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really
Awesome.
does.
Scotty Boy
Yeah.
says, "Don't forget to come to remote view with us, Max Vision tonight at 8." Cool. Go get you
8.
some.
Yeah. See, that's
Where's
the thing.
Scotty Boy?
Pacific.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's in the Pacific. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah.
Yep. I
See,
feel you,
that's
bro. I feel you.
that's past my bedtime kind of. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. You're about to call it a day, aren't you? It's like what, 5 o'clock in the morning your time?
4:30.
4:30. Okay.
I'll tell
pretty
you one
close.
thing. I was doing remote viewing last week,
Mm-hmm.
and I was too tired to actually get into the chat room one of the nights. I think it was Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
And I closed my eyes, and he says, "Okay, here's an image." And the first thing I saw was a court jester with the hat, and the pointed
Mm-hmm.
tassels and the bells.
Yep.
And then I saw the clown face, this clown face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why would I see the hat of a jester?
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw a painted face.
Uh-huh.
I didn't make the connection. And the third, but it was the second image that he showed was the clown.
No,
Oh,
no way.
cool. Yeah.
I was
Yep.
like,
No
but
way.
I was supposed to be looking at a different image, but I was already picking
You
up
were on the
the
next
clown.
one, huh? That's funny.
That's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
It's
my God,
really
there's a
cool.
clown, and I saw
Yeah.
the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty
I
cool.
noticed Scotty Boy does real well.
Yeah, he
A
does.
lot of others.
Yeah.
Lori's sweet voice saved the lives of Hans and Franz tonight. Anyone want a rooster?
Oh, Hans and Franz.
Ugh, that's funny.
What's that all
Well, wait a
about?
minute. Weren't there? I'm confused. Didn't he lose? Oh no, those were turkeys that he.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anybody
Took
that
it
would take a
and-
turkey and especially if they're a pet,
They
they're
sold
smart.
both turkeys, 2 of them.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
They were
That's
gorgeous
awful.
turkeys too.
Oh, it's just awful. Yep.
Yeah.
Too funny. Well,
Alrighty,
guys,
folks.
it's that time again. Thanks for coming here. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. And
Yeah.
always so much love for you guys. Appreciate you. Peace
Take care,
out.
everyone.
Later.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.
Bye now.